I would pray that anyone who has information about this case would please come forward.
And that is exactly the reason that both the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office and the family of Ryan Hoeffliger are sitting down with our Help Me Hayley tonight. 40 years after the toddler was discovered dead in Hayden Lake, more than a mile and a half from his home on a frigid November day. Ryan Hoeffliger's death was immediately labeled suspicious back in 1984, with troubling and at times contradicting clues only piling up with the years that have followed. The family wrote to Hayley, convinced someone out there knows something, and hopeful they are finally ready to do the right thing.
And we'd chase each other around, play, and I have a very vivid memory of him holding on the kitchen counter, and the dishwasher door was down. He said, boing, boing, bouncing up and down, up and down.
The mere mention of Chuck McDonald's nephew, Ryan Hoeffliger.
2 years and not quite 2 months.
And his whole face lights up.
It's pretty cool. He was fun. He was funny.
Memories seared into his soul, both good and bad.
Middle of November and, through the holidays, it's just, there it is again.
November 11th, 1984, the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office got a frantic report. A toddler missing.
The call came in around 8:20, maybe about 20 minutes after the discovery that Ryan was not in his home.
He vanished from the bed he shared the previous night with his sister, the tight-knit Hayden community, arriving in droves in hopes of finding this little boy.
As you can imagine, hundreds of people were recruited for the search, and so a very wide area was searched.
Initial efforts focused around the family's home and neighborhood, much more rural then, but eventually expanded nearly 2 miles out to the freezing waters of Hayden Lake.
I'll never forget my sister's scream for the rest of my life. It was very haunting.
A group of volunteers found his body. The drowned toddler was found floating under a private dock of an unoccupied home.
The thing that makes this case so challenging, number one, is that there's really very little physical evidence.
With one significant exception.
He was not wearing the diaper that he was put to bed with.
McDonald says the family only used cloth diapers. Ryan was found wearing a disposable.
What do you make of the diaper? That seems incredibly troubling. How do you explain that?
Well, it kind of defies explanation, and it is one of the pieces of evidence that strongly suggests that the child is not solely responsible, that he did not leave the home on his own, that he did not walk 1.5 miles to the lake on his own, which seems unlikely in itself, and that he got into the lake.
Ryan had no signs of sexual abuse or any other unexplained injuries. Detectives were baffled then and now.
You're not talking about a mystery. You're really talking about 3 mysteries that are rolled into one. How did this 2-year-old child get out of the house? How did this 2-year-old child get from the house to the lake that we're sitting in front of now? And how did he end up in the lake? There are so many mysterious aspects to it that they just sort of defy explanation. I'm convinced that this young child did not leave on his own, and that he did not make his way to the lake on his own and fall into the lake by himself.
McDonald agrees.
I think somebody should pay, certainly, but that's not my motivation. I just want it solved. If they're still alive, hopefully they're just rotting in some kind of hell in their head.
The day this happened was dreary, cold, kind of misty. Similar days take McDonald to a place of wonder, asking himself what the world could have lost 40 years ago.
He'd be 42 years old right now. Who knows what he'd be doing?
Haley Gunther reporting. Detective Snell wants it known to the public if someone is withholding information because of fear of automatically being implicated in a murder, they are keeping an open mind to all possibilities about how all this happened. If you have any information, call the Kootenai County Sheriff's Office. And if you have a problem, a story needs told, a solution, the Help Me team is here for you. Scan the QR code on the screen to contact us and share your story.